There is a machine inside your head that has a very specific function. It is a rewind button. You have a conversation with someone, maybe a friend, a boss, or even a stranger in line at the grocery store, and in the moment, it seems fine. But hours later, when you are driving home, or washing dishes, or lying in bed at 2 a.m., the machine turns on. You replay the scene. You hear their voice. You hear your own voice. You analyze the tone, the pause, the specific word choice. You wonder, why did I say that, or, did they mean something else by that look, or, I should have said this instead. Sometimes, you replay conversations that haven't even happened yet. You script them out. You rehearse your lines. You anticipate their responses. You build an entire dialogue tree in your mind before you even say hello. Society calls this overthinking. They call it anxiety. They tell you to just let it go, or live in the moment. But let me tell you something that will change the way you see your mind forever. Replaying conversations is not a sign that you are socially awkward. It is not a sign that you are crazy. It is a sign that your brain is operating on a higher frequency of social processing. You are not ruminating, you are optimizing. You are not obsessing, you are learning. Today, we are going to explore the 5 rare, powerful, and scientifically supported traits that define people who replay conversations. We are going to stop shaming your busy mind and start understanding the brilliance behind the rewind button. By the end of this message, you will realize that your mental rehearsals are actually a superpower of connection. But before we dive into the first trait, ask yourself this: do you often feel like you understand people better after you have left the room than when you were actually in it? Because the first trait I'm about to share explains exactly why your brain works on a delay, and why that delay is actually an advantage. Trait number 1, the post-processing intellectual, deep reflection. The first trait of the replater is a brain that favors deep reflection over instant reaction. Most people are reactors. They hear a word, and they speak a word. They operate on instinct. This makes them quick in conversation, but often shallow in understanding. They might say the wrong thing, miss the nuance, or forget the conversation entirely 10 minutes later. But you are a processor. Your brain takes in so much data during a conversation, body language, tone, context, history, emotion, that you cannot possibly process it all in real time. It is like trying to drink from a fire hose. So, your brain stores the data. It records the interaction. And then, when you are in a quiet, safe space, it hits play. This is when the real understanding happens. This is why you often realize the perfect comeback 3 hours later. Or why you suddenly understand that your friend wasn't angry, they were just tired. Or why you catch a lie that you missed in the moment. You replay conversations because you are committed to truth. You want to make sure you understood correctly. You want to make sure you were heard correctly. This trait makes you incredibly wise. You are the person who comes back a day later and says, "I was thinking about what you said, and I realized." And that insight is usually profound. Here is the secret: the world is run by people who react fast, but it is improved by people who think deep. Your delay is not a glitch, it is quality control. And if this idea of wanting to get it right resonates with you, wait until you hear the second trait. It explains why you care so much about the outcome of every interaction. If you can see how your post-processing leads to deeper wisdom, then the second trait will make perfect sense. It is the engine that drives the replay machine, and it is rooted in one of the most beautiful human qualities. Trait number 2, the empathic perfectionist. The second trait is a rare combination of high empathy and social perfectionism. You replay conversations not because you are vain, but because you are terrified of causing harm. You are analyzing the tape to check for errors. Did I interrupt them? Did I sound dismissive? Did I validate their feelings? Did I accidentally hurt their feelings? You care deeply about how you impact others. You want your presence to be a gift, not a burden. Most people walk away from a conversation and never think about how they made the other person feel. They assume, if they have a problem, they'll tell me. But you know that people rarely tell you when they are hurt. You know that pain is often silent. So, you review the tape to make sure you didn't miss a signal. This makes you an incredibly conscientious friend, partner, and colleague. You are the one who texts later to say, "I hope I didn't overstep," or "I just wanted to check in on that thing you mentioned." People feel safe with you because they sense that you are careful with their hearts. But there is a shadow side to this perfectionism. It can make you feel responsible for emotions that aren't yours to carry. And this leads directly to the third trait, a hidden ability that allows you to see the future of a relationship before it even happens. And here is the psychological truth behind that shadow side: your brain is running simulations. Because you care so deeply about the outcome, your mind tries to predict every possible future timeline based on the data from the past. You aren't just remembering, you are forecasting. If the first trait, deep reflection, gave you wisdom, and the second trait, empathic perfectionism, gave you kindness, then this third trait is what gives you a strategic advantage that most people completely lack. But ask yourself this: have you ever rehearsed a difficult conversation in your head, and then when it actually happened, it went exactly how you imagined? That wasn't a coincidence. That was your brain using its advanced simulation software, and I'm going to show you why that makes you a master negotiator. Trait number 3, the social simulator, strategic foresight. The third trait is the ability to run social simulations. When you replay a conversation that hasn't happened yet, when you rehearse your lines in the shower, you are actually engaging in a high-level cognitive process called perspective thinking. Athletes do this. They visualize the race before they run it. Musicians do this. They hear the music before they play it. And you do this with human connection. You are testing scenarios. If I say X, they might get angry. If I say Y, they might misunderstand. If I say Z, we might find a solution. You are optimizing the interaction before it even begins. This means that when you finally do have the tough conversation, you are often calmer, clearer, and more articulate than the other person. You have already lived the conversation 10 times. You have already processed the emotions. You are prepared. People might be surprised by how well you handle conflict or how clearly you express your boundaries. They don't see the hours of mental rehearsal that went into that one moment. You are not anxious, you are prepared. You are the architect of your social reality. But here is the danger: sometimes the simulation becomes so real that you feel the emotions of a fight that hasn't even happened. If you've ever gotten mad at someone for something they did in your head, you know exactly what I mean. And this sensitivity to patterns leads us to the fourth trait, the ability to hear what wasn't said. If you resonated with the traits of the social simulator, then this fourth trait will feel like the missing key to your intuition. It explains why you often know people better than they know themselves. Most people listen to words. But you listen to the silence between the words. And your replay button is the tool you use to decode that silence. Trait number 4, the pattern recognizer, the detective mind. The fourth trait is a Sherlock Holmes-level ability to detect patterns and inconsistencies. When you replay a conversation, you aren't just listening to the dialogue. You are cross-referencing it with everything else you know about that person. They said they were happy, but their voice dropped at the end of the sentence. Why? Last week, when they were actually happy, their voice went up. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. You notice when someone's story changes. You notice when their words don't match their actions. You notice the subtle shifts in energy that indicate a lie, a secret, or a hidden agenda. In the moment, the conversation might move too fast to catch these clues. But in the replay, the clues shine like neon lights. This is why you are so hard to lie to. This is why you often sense a breakup before it happens, or sense a betrayal before it is revealed. You have reviewed the tapes. You have seen the evidence. People might call you paranoid or overanalytical. But time and time again, your analysis proves to be correct. You are the detective of your own life. You are not willing to accept the surface-level narrative. You want the truth. And you are willing to do the mental work to dig for it. Now, you might be thinking, this is great, but it's also exhausting. I wish I could just turn it off. This exhaustion is real, and it leads to the fifth and final trait, a spiritual quality that explains why your soul chose a mind that never stops recording. If you can see how pattern recognition protects you, you are beginning to understand the difference between dwelling and decoding. Dwelling is stuck in the past. Decoding is preparing for the future. This shift from victim of your thoughts to student of human nature is exactly why people like you often become writers, therapists, counselors, or leaders. You understand the mechanics of humanity better than anyone because you have spent a lifetime studying the blueprints. By identifying these traits, you are essentially telling the universe that you value truth over comfort. You value understanding over ignorance. But there is a cost. And the fifth trait explains what that cost is, and more importantly, what the reward is. Trait number 5, the quest for closure, the narrative weaver. The fifth trait is a deep, soulful need for narrative closure. Human brains are wired to love stories. We need a beginning, a middle, and an end. When a conversation feels unfinished, awkward, or unresolved, it creates what psychologists call an open loop. Your brain hates open loops. You replay the conversation because you are trying to close the loop. You are trying to make sense of the story. Why did that happen? What does it mean for our relationship? What is the moral of the story? You are a narrative weaver. You are trying to stitch the chaotic events of life into a coherent quilt of meaning. This is a spiritual trait. It means you are not content to just let life happen to you. You want to integrate your experiences. You want to learn the lesson so you don't have to repeat the class. The spiritual purpose of your busy mind. So, why were you given a mind that works this way? Is it a punishment? No. It is a tool for conscious evolution. Most people walk through life asleep. They repeat the same patterns, have the same arguments, and make the same mistakes for decades because they never stop to review the tape. They never look back to see where they tripped. But you are constantly reviewing. You are constantly correcting. You are constantly upgrading your software. This is why you grow so fast. This is why you are wiser than your years. Your overthinking is actually hyperlearning. You are doing the work of becoming a conscious human being. The solution, how to turn off the machine. But even the best machine needs an off switch. If you never stop replaying, you will burn out. You will get stuck in the past, unable to enjoy the present. So, here is how you manage this superpower. Step 1. Designate a review time. Do not let the replays hijack your entire day. Pick a time, maybe during your evening walk, or while journaling, where you allow yourself to review the day's interactions. Do it intentionally. And when the time is up, close the file. Step 2. Ask the closing question. When your brain gets stuck on a loop, ask yourself, is there any new information here? If the answer is no, if you are just replaying the same hurt over and over, tell yourself firmly, the lesson is learned. The file is closed. Step 3. Rewrite the ending. If a conversation went badly and you can't stop thinking about it, rewrite it in your mind. Imagine yourself handling it perfectly. Imagine the other person responding with kindness. This tricks your brain into feeling a sense of resolution. It closes the loop so you can finally sleep. The final ritual. If this message resonated with your spirit today, if you felt a weight lift off your shoulders knowing that your obsessive mind is actually a brilliant one, then I invite you to make a powerful declaration. I want you to signal to the universe that you accept your mind. I want you to stop fighting your nature and start harnessing it. Close your eyes for just a second. Place your hands on your head, the home of your beautiful, complex, tireless brain. Feel the hum of your own thoughts. And silently say, I trust my mind to protect me. I trust my heart to guide me. I am safe in the present moment. And to seal this intention, go to the comments below and write these simple words. I trust my wisdom. Let those words be your permission slip. Let them be the moment you stop apologizing for thinking too much and start celebrating that you think enough to care. You are not crazy. You are conscious. You are not broken. You are brilliant. You are not stuck in the past. You are learning from it so you can build a better future. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today.